Hey guys, welcome back to Vintage Vibes. It is Thursday night around 7:30 and I am making some guinea pig sacks for my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, which is my husband's sister and her husband, Wanda and Jeff. So they're really cute. The only thing is I had to figure out how to do a double seam and close it off. So anyway, I'm going to show you really quick if you're interested in all. And I made this cute little one. Yeah, I had to bring my sewing machine in here in the kitchen. So, but anyway, and then here's the cute one. She picked out this little fabric. So cute. And the little guinea pig goes up inside of there and nestles or whatever they do, sleep or whatever, hide. You know, all that good things. So she picked out some really cute fleece fabric. So really all you have to do is you usually fleece, I think it's about 60 inches wide. And I cut it at 15. Now what you do is you fold it like the two right sides together. If you're familiar with sewing at all, you cut it like this, like, you know, the long ways across where it's, you know, where the salvage end is, and just make sure you put your two right sides together, because usually when you get fabric they fold it where your right sides are outside, but all you have to do is just fold it over and put the two right sides of your fabric together, and then cut across like to where it's at the fold, like from one end where the salvage ends is to the where it folds, and it's plenty long enough to do it, and just cut it across this way at 15 inches wide, see, that way. So it'll be plenty big enough, because you're gonna have to fold it back down, and it'll finish off at like 15 inches or something like that. So but anyway, you just get the two right sides together, and it took me a minute to figure out how to do that from just the thing that she gave me. But it's simple. You just cut it. And then you got to cut it now when you got the fold, even at the fold part, like in the middle, like your fabric's folded over, you know, like say it's like this, and this is your salvage edge, and you got this in the middle. You're gonna have to split it too. You got to have two open ends. Okay, both these ends need to be open, okay, on these short sides, okay, both the ends, and you're going to sew up down the long edge about I don't know, about 3/4 and a half. 3/4 usually is pretty good for this fleece, because it's easier to sew it if you you know, because you try to get too close there, this stuff's not going to sew that way. So we're going to sew it together, and I'm going to show you how to do these, y'all. They're really easy if you're ever even interested in sewing it at all. But I like to, when I'm sewing my stuff, I like to double sew my stuff, because especially if you want it to last. You don't have to do that, but this is going to be like, you know, pretty thick, like it's pretty thick. So this was my last one, so I thought I would share with y'all how to sew it. So, you know, you surely, you know, if you don't know how to, you just fire your sewing machine up and get it going. You just gotta go down the long edge, sewing it, and I usually do it about 3/4 of an inch, because it gives me, and I'm gonna show y'all. I can't, because I ain't in there with my tripod. You see how right there I kind of go over a little more, just because of the fact that that it sews better that way. And you just hold it with your hands, both ends. But anyway, so we've been pretty busy this week. We have had 2 different doctor's appointments, and we had physical therapy, and then we got physical therapy tomorrow. So James doing really well. He's got his boots off, so he got in a pair of tennis shoes yesterday, so it hurt his feet. But they said that is going to do that for a while, that it will hurt his feet for a little bit. because all the tissues and the nerves and all that kind of stuff has to, you know, get better. And then what I do is I just go back down that same side, because I double sew it, because you don't have to, but I'm just doing it. I don't make these just sell them or not. I was just making it for her. My sister-in-law, she bought me a paper pan. She bought me a paper pan from Joann's. So I don't know if any of y'all went back yet. I think they're fixing to close. Like I heard, it was fixing to be pretty quick. I really kind of wanted to go back one more time, because I forgot to get my papers that I wanted to get for my other thing I was working on, and I just totally just didn't get them. But hopefully I get some time. I don't think they're going to be open Sunday because it's Easter. I think they're going to be closed. But from what I hear, some of them said they were closing them on Sunday, but I think it's because it's Easter. I don't think they're closing them just to be closing them. But, so anyway. So that one side is sewed, and you can see, and in a minute, you're going to cut that off some. You don't want to leave it that thick. So, and then when because you make sure you put your pins, you know, down the side to pretty well close together. That way you don't have to, you know, because this is not really stretching that bad. It's not really stretching like I thought it would. But anyway, it's not been that bad to sew. So, but this sewing machine that I got when we lived in Pensacola, this lady, her name was Miss Sally Johnson, and she was an older lady, and she actually gave me this sewing machine. She gave it to me, and I've been so grateful, because this little thing here was sew up lots of stuff, lots of thick stuff. So make sure you take your pins, you know, let y'all see how I'm kind of sewing that. But make sure y'all take your pins and you kind of take them out as you go, because you don't want to run over your pins with your sewing machine. I'm trying to get my pedal. It's the one thing about this one though, this pedal, it likes to move on you. You got to keep up with the pedal. Yeah, but that's what we've got going on this week, trying to get that. And then my hubby got some abscess in his teeth and on his gums, and it's been pretty painful, and he finally got to go to the dentist yesterday, and he got that taken care of. I tell y'all, when it rains, it pours at our house. I don't know about y'all, but he's doing a lot better. He went back to work today, so he's doing better with all that. And they gave him some medicine to help with all that. And we think he's got to have a couple teeth pulled next Thursday. So I hope y'all got a pretty big Easter planned. You know, if I don't get back on here, I'm going to tell you Happy Resurrection Day. We all know it's Easter, but we know it's about Jesus. And, you know, him coming and giving his sacrificed his life for all of us on the cross to, so we can, you know, so we can have a relationship with him, and, you know, and go to heaven. And when you accept Jesus and you got Jesus in your heart, that's how, because he's the only way to get to heaven. He's the only way, and he intercedes for us. He goes to God for us. So that's what Easter is about, him coming and taking on the whole world's sins. And all you have to do is just ask him, tell him you're sorry, and ask for forgiveness. It's that simple, y'all. And you gotta, you know, but it's just so important. If you don't do anything else with your life, that's what you need to do, you know. Ask Jesus to come into your heart and be the Lord of your life. So, but anyway, so that is I said I got to talking and run my mouth now. I'm going to make sure that's my second sew. Okay. Okay, so that's the second sew, and then that's the second sew. Okay, so now, these are real easy. So once you get both long sides sewed, all you got to do is cut that thick piece of flange off of there really quick. So we're going to do that. I usually cut it about 1/4 inch away from the side of that piece. See, about like that much. Yeah, because when you turn it, it's not going to be so thick. It's not going to be too thick. But I literally, y'all, I had the piece that she gave me, the little sack that she had. And I've never sewed these in my life. And I was like, kept thinking on it and thinking on it. And I thought, Lord, how in the world did they get this thing do? And I really laid in the bed the other night. And it came to me like you got to pull it back down on itself. So I'm fixing to show you how to do that. Okay, it's really not that hard. And I don't know if she wants me to top stitch it around. I mean, that other one that she gave me is not, but I'm just wondering if it would be like better for the guinea pig than not have that thing kind of rolling up when they're trying to get in there, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but I'm gonna ask her before I put this sewing machine back up, because I usually put it up in a certain spot because then I have to bring it out and sew on it. But anyway, I don't know how the weather's been where y'all are, but it's been pretty here first few days. But we're supposed to get some pretty bad weather, like maybe Sunday afternoon, I think, or night or something. But anyway, after you get that done, and what I mean is you got to turn it into itself. Like you got to put, now you got to take it, and I just kind of start rolling it down with the seam, and you got to go halfway, and you line it up at the bottom. And either side, it doesn't matter. You kind of just turn it like a little sack, like a little pillowcase. You see that? I mean, this literally come to me, y'all, when I was laying in the bed. And I had to get up and go get a scrap and see if I was right. I was like, I could not go to sleep thinking about this crazy thing. I worried with it all day and couldn't think of nothing to make it work right. But you literally, it makes both your seam, see, or inside out, see. Can't see either one of them once you do it that way. So once you do it that way, I just kind of pop it. You make sure all four of your little ends are down here together. Okay. And then you got your top piece. See how it's folded over? It's like a little sack. And you just kind of line it up and make sure it's kind of in there really good. You know, just kind of make sure it's laying down flat. Let me do that over here. Run your hand up in it and kind of, you know, push up into the top layers. Kind of make sure they're kind of laying down pretty flat. Make it look kind of nice, you know, type thing. So, but that's just what I do. And I don't know, I'm gonna ask her if she wants me to, you know, top sew around, you know, like this this rounded edge part, to kind of just run it up in there and do it, because I don't know, I think it'll hold it down better. I mean, I don't know if you don't really have to do it that way. So once you get your, like inside of here, and once you get your the seam pieces, like inside there should be two wrong sides touching. Okay, and once you get that done, and you make sure they're all kind of straight across the edge, and this fleece works pretty well together, so it's doing good. Okay, and you just make sure that you got the seams on this side kind of lined up, and the bottom. And all I'm gonna do, now listen, don't try to sew this a ½ inch across the bottom. I'm gonna tell you why, because it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's gonna bundle up under your machine, and it's gonna be a disaster. So what I do is I go over a good, that's probably about 1¼ inch over. Okay, and I'm gonna sew it once, a couple times, then I'm gonna come back right beside it and sew it again, because I want to make sure once I cut that extra off, it's gonna have 2 double reinforcements. Okay, so once I get started, I'm gonna show you on my machine about how far over I'm gonna take it, because I want to make sure I can get, and it's thick, y'all. I'm not even playing about it being thick now. But the thing about it is, when you do it this way, you're gonna have, and it takes a minute to get it going. Come on. Okay, so I'm gonna lean you down. I'm gonna show you kind of what it looks like. Okay, if you'll look right here, see if you can see it on my sewing machine right there. I kind of am over a pretty good bit. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I'm just going to turn you all the way around. You might be upside down, but anyway, I hope not. I'm trying to show you, but I don't know if that did any good, y'all. But if you're sewing it across, just make sure you're holding it, you know, pretty good. And it's about 1.5 inches, because if you don't do it this way, it's not gonna sew, because it just gathers and bunches up under your feet on your sewing machine, and it's just a pain in the boo-wah to fix it. So I just do it, sew it across it a couple times. And then I'll tell you what, now this little old sewing machine, now you gotta make sure your stuff ain't gathered up too, up in there. You gotta make sure. And just kind of pull it back and back stitch it. Okay, and then I'll sew it again 2 times, because I want to make sure these are going to last them for a long time. Okay, so now I'm just going to stick it. Now what I'll probably do is come back from this edge, since I've already got a good yeah, see, and once you get that initial edge on it, it does pretty good. Okay, now look. Okay, you gotta put that little thing on there for him. Okay, so see, I did that about this much, if you can see that. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna run it back across it, like right up beside it. Okay, so probably what I do is I usually run my foot maybe about 1/8 of an inch away from that side. Okay, it's kind of hard to see that, but yeah, I don't know if y'all can kind of tell that, but I'm trying to get you over here where you can see it. Okay, I'm trying to see. I can't really see it, but I don't know if that helped or not. But anyway, well, I'll show it to you when it's done. That way you'll kind of know. But just kind of get a good, like, back stitch on it too. That way you'll kind of know. But these are really fun. Like, I've made 4, like, and then it wasn't that bad. It hadn't been that bad, you know, to make. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to do one more sew. And I'm going to show you really fast, because I want you to kind of see. You see how I kind of just went double time down the side of that. Okay. And I'm going to flip it and do it from this side, because I want to kind of catch that edge, since I've already got it real good right there. And once you get that part done, like, it goes pretty breezy. And you just basically, you know, cut it off. Yeah, but let's see, it's trying to see, once you stop, you gotta take some, you gotta turn your wheel and get it going. Get it going again. This is pretty thick. This fabric is pretty thick. It's pretty thick. Back, just tack that a couple times. Okay. So that is all of that, y'all. And all I'm gonna do is I'm really gonna just see how I double tap that. Now watch, I'm gonna cut this off kind of pretty close to that, probably about 1/4 of an inch maybe away from that last sewed edge right there. Okay, now you see how I kind of just cut the extra off right there, because it keeps the guinea pig's feet and toes from getting like stuck on it. And all you're gonna do literally is turn it inside out, just like that. Just gonna turn it out. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's pretty awesome. I would love for y'all to come and meet my hubby. Do you want to come meet everybody? I would love for y'all to meet my hubby. He's so sweet. Sweetheart, come here. He's going to say, he said, oh no. I want y'all to meet my hubby. He's so sweet. He's so sweet. He's so cute and so sweet. Come on over here. This is my sweet hubby, Don. Everybody say hey.
Hi. Hey.
He's so sweet. He's my sweetheart. He's my sweetheart. He's so sweet. But anyway, y'all, look at there. Another little sack. All you gotta do is cut the edge off. That's it. Turn them out. So I've got 4 made. And if I'm gonna call her when I get off of here, and if she wants me to, I'm just gonna take a little stitch and go all the way around the edge. And maybe, because I don't know, that the one she gave me to go by is not sewed. So, but I don't know. I don't think it's really necessary. But anyway, I want to get on here and share that with y'all. And first time making guinea pig sacks. So that's how you do it. It's real simple. So I pray y'all have an awesome Easter weekend. And I'll see y'all soon. I'm working on some dollhouse journal albums. They're called Grand Paper Doll Series. And all of the ones I'm going to be making each one is named after my granddaughters. I think that's pretty special. So hopefully, and I got one that I had been working on, another kind, and I'm going to show that to y'all pretty soon. So I pray y'all have a awesome day. And remember, I love you, but God loves you more. Bye.